2.5 stars. I'm joined by
Jason
and Kelly, or not Kelly,
Erik. You know that you're half dwarf, right?
I think
What if I'm
Erik,
the Brad Pitt of dwarf kind?
Kelly, his wife, fucked it a lot.
What's up, guys? It's Steve. I had hair when I was younger.
Like, watch this, guys. I'm gonna totally make them do it. Oh!
What's up, guys? It's Steve with Hab Gaming, and welcome back to another 2.5 stars. I am joined by
Erik.
Kelly.
Jason.
And this week we watched Robin Hood, directed by Wolfgang Reiterman, written by Larry Clemens and Ken Anderson, starring Brian Bedford, Phil Harris, and Roger Miller. IMDb synopsis: the story of the legendary outlaws portrayed with characters as humanoid animals. What'd you guys think?
I like this movie.
Yes,
It's,
I really enjoyed it as a child.
This is the first time I've seen this movie.
Yeah?
She was not impressed.
Yeah.
Well, that's because she saw it after the age of like 10.
Yep.
No.
It's another
Oh,
one where
no.
you had to see it as a kid, or it's just not going to do it for you.
I gotta tell you, in my mind, I thought that they had used all of the like all the Jungle Book people for this thing, and it was literally just the same voice actor that played Baloo as Little John. Was all it was.
I noticed that too.
I was like,
Oh, really?
yeah, for some reason in my mind, like remembering this from as a kid, I thought that it was all the Jungle Book because I remember the snake too. And I was like, well, maybe that's the same, and it might be the same actor. I didn't actually look up the snake's voice actor, but for some reason I just thought that everything was switched out. But then I was like, well, no, Shere Khan could not be Prince John because Prince John is such a blubbering idiot kind of thing that, and so is the sheriff. That fucking Shere Khan is way too mean to be either one of those guys. He's too vicious, I guess it would be, for that kind of bad guy thing. So it makes sense that they didn't, but I don't know. In my mind, I totally remember it being the Jungle Book characters, and it's just because of the voice actor for Little John. So.
Yeah. I mean, the voice actor for the sheriff, I don't remember the guy's name, but I swear he's been in like a million things.
Yeah.
I think he's even in Back to the Future 3. Anyways, he's got like a really kind of country voice, I guess.
Pat Buttram.
Oh, okay. Yeah, maybe that's not the same guy.
He is in Back to the Future 3.
Oh, no shit?
Yeah, he plays Jeb the Saloon old timer.
Okay, yeah, he's the guy who's like, you can't let him. Anyways, I don't know what exactly he says, but I remember I was like, I think that's the same guy. Well, there's another one that I recognize. That's cool. But yeah, the whole Robin Hood thing is pretty neat. What's funny about, I think the whole Robin Hood myth is everybody kind of forgets that like the people that he's stealing the money from are mainly the people collecting taxes.
Yeah.
Not necessarily, well, I mean, of course, back then those were the rich people.
Yeah.
Right? And what's funny about it is like those rich people didn't trick the peasants into, giving them money. No. They do what the government does, which is stand there and go, we're going to put you in the stocks or fuck you up if you don't pay us. Which is way worse because it almost would be like I had this weird thought when I was watching it today. I was like, what if the government had competition where if the other guy was doing a better job, they'd get more money? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have any idea how that would ever work.
So,
but could you imagine, like, it's like Comcast in a place where AT&T or somebody actually is a competitor and they're super nice and they're like, oh, I'm sorry, can we do anything to fix this today? Or is compared to like a Paradise when we had it, which was, oh, everybody's having that problem. Hold on, I've got to get my nipple cream out. Oh, tell me about it, and it's like, I'm sorry, with their fake ass bullshit, and you can hear like in the background
Clapping?
no
Round of applause?
exactly. Yep.
that's definitely
Yes.
a hand. Yeah, hands are doing something back there.
So if it's similar to the way they did it in Roman times, and I don't know if this is how they did it in England, but basically they would have people bid to be tax collectors, and the tax collectors would say, okay, I can get you this much money for this area, and then the whatever, the king, the senate, or whatever, I guess in Roman times would be the senate, would be like, yeah, this guy can get us more money, and then that tax collector would go and try to collect more than what he promised to the senate, and that whatever he got over the amount that he promised, he could keep himself. So he would be gouging as much as he could. And I don't know if that's the same that they did in like medieval England and stuff like that.
That sounds like it could be. I know people fucking hated tax collectors. Like the Doberman dog was invented by a tax collector who didn't want people to kill him.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's kind of the worst part about a lot of that back in those days is like the rich people were big and strong because they ate meat and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the peasants were basically just slaves. I mean, they were living in a house barely, and they ate scraps and weren't very big. They were malnourished.
Yeah.
And had no, I mean, then you have like people complain about guns, right? But guns are kind of nice because they're kind of an equalizer. Where back in those days, imagine that you're a peasant, your dad doesn't know how to fight, nobody knows how to fight. And then imagine that these guys who were half a foot taller than you, that have been learning how to fight since they were 3 years old and are hard asses, show up and they're like, hey, I'm going to do whatever I want to you. Go ahead and try to stop me. P.S. I have armor on. You have a pitchfork and some clothes.
Yeah.
Good luck, buddy. And it's only crazy bastards like the Scots who, they had like Stan's like, fuck you. Anyways, well, it's like Scandinavians and stuff, the stuff, whatever I've read about it, said that they, like the dads, it was kind of like more of a Spartan culture where the dads would teach the kids how to fight from a young age. All of them passed down. Like that's what they did. But like when you got into more medieval times, like my brother was showing me, they found some manuscript of sword fighting. And he's like, yeah, this isn't like the Asian martial arts. Like these were like closely guarded secrets of how to do these things. You didn't just
honestly,
open up
like Asian martial arts was the same way back in the day too.
Oh, was it? I thought the Buddhist monks and stuff propagated a lot of that information with the.
Well, maybe kung fu, but like
I
know in Japan and stuff like that, karate was invented to fight the samurai. Same way the knights and stuff like that. It was because they were fighting. That's why like the weapons you see were weapons that you would use on a farm or something like that. A fucking stick.
Yeah, that kuk sul is the same way.
Yeah. So it's all stuff that you would develop that way, and then because there was they didn't have weapons. The only people that had weapons were the samurai, so you had to fucking deal with those guys coming around just cutting your head off because they didn't like the way you looked or they wanted your shit.
So, I know back then those guys could literally just kill you if you looked at them wrong.
Yeah,
no big deal.
So that's where that's where the martial arts came from. So I imagine it's the same style that at least with that. I don't know. In China, most likely, I like you said, the Buddhist monks probably just fucking spread that shit like crazy because they wanted people to go with the Buddhist stuff. It helps with the I don't know, the spirit and some shit like that.
I think it actually helps society if everybody knows how to beat the shit out of each other.
It probably does. I wouldn't doubt it.
I mean, if you're in school and you have some idea what to do, the bullying thing doesn't work as much.
Yeah.
Because you've practiced fighting. Like when you're a little kid and you get punched in the face the first time, I imagine if it's not from your mom from when you're like 3 years old, it's going to be a big shock. You're going to be like, oh my God, what the hell just happened to me? Because your nose makes you cry, because when you get a broken nose or your nose gets hit real hard, it makes you cry and you don't know what the hell to do. And then, you don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that would work because in countries where it's required by law that you carry guns after the age 18, they have no crime because everybody has a gun. So that if everybody had to do training to kick each other's ass, there'd be a lot less crime.
Well, yeah. And anyways, that's why I think guns are misrepresented terribly. Because, like, let's say
that's just the liberals because they can't be communist unless they take our guns away.
Well, they don't understand, that. Anyways, it's just this thing. I mean, none of them would even have the ability to speak up without the gun, because unless they're Brock Lesnar,
You're gonna
good
say Brock
fucking luck.
Samson?
Well, I was going to say Brock Samson. Thank God Brock Lesnar's a person, because Brock Samson was like show up and be like, hey, I can do whatever I want. He could fucking kick Brock Lesnar's ass,
Yeah, he could.
and it's like, holy shit, could you imagine that if like basically you walk into any room and the biggest guy who's ate the most and you're starving your ass off and this guy's been eating nothing but fucking meat almost every day and his dad showed him how to beat you up and he can literally kill you in 10 seconds. Like it takes him longer to take a sword out than it does to actually kill you. And then you're basically just at that guy's mercy and he fucking knows it. And that's not a healthy. I mean, you could see what happens in spaces where they know they have enough, like way too much power. Like there was a lot of rapings going on back in those days. Cause what's the farmer going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's going to try to fight, but I mean, it's like a little kid going against a grown up. You're fucked. Literally. He's like, after I'm done with my wife, I'm getting you too. And the guy's like, God damn it. Why
Well,
couldn't I have been born this guy? And that's, so it's nice though to see the story where the guy uses the bow and he's like, fuck it, I'll just trick you using my brain and steal all your shit and then give it out to the poor people who you've been stealing it from. The whole time I'm like, why wouldn't he have just killed Prince John in the fucking wagon though?
There's a lot of times where I'm like, dude, you could have just shot, like how good he is with a bow. He could have sat in a fucking tree really far away, whatever the range of a bow, and fucking killed him with no problem. Prince John's not doing shit. Fucking the sheriff doesn't wear any armor, at least that we can see. Stick it in his fucking eye. There's plenty of times they've had, granted it's a kid's cartoon, so obviously they're not going to kill each other, but except there was a lot of hangings and stuff, or at least they were, alluding to it.
Talking about it, yeah. Well, I mean, this is kind of oh, fuck it. I played this game a long time ago called Dark Ages Camelot, and you'd run through, right? And there was this couple of archer classes. And I'm going to tell you what, when you're running through and the guy in front of you just drops dead because the archer guy shot him and he just died, and you'd have no idea where it came from. It's fucking like, it's the funny. I wish we had like recording programs back then because it was literally like 18 people just going every which fucking direction. And basically by the end of it, we'd all be dead.
It's like Saving Private Ryan,
Yeah, because the guy could just pop you again, pop the guy behind you and pop you and pop the rest of them. And then you're all just dead.
Yeah.
And, that game didn't have any like distance closers or any of that. There was no block. It was basically just like, if that guy can back up and shoot longer than I have health to catch up to him, I'm going to die. And then those guys could also stealth too. So it made it for a kind of a shitty thing for a little while, but it was exciting. I don't have bad memories of it. It was like, holy shit, what the hell just happened? And there was a couple of really good players on the other teams that would just murk everybody. And you'd be like, what the fuck just happened? And so you're like or you're Prince John and you're just like, oh, I've read everything. Hey, hiss. Yeah, just lick a little bit more. I've got that, he's fucking Richard Gearing it over there with a snake. And then the fucking arrow just whizzes through and drills him, and then he's dead.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, charge that. But I mean, there's no way King Richard would have pardoned that shit.
No.
But this other way, I mean, maybe that's the whole moral of the story is that, when King Richard shows up, you better fucking come correct. Because he just was in the Crusades. Now, do you guys know because I've seen like stuff that's one thing. It's like Robin Hood's totally bullshit, and then I've seen other stuff where there's like people and whatever. There's like an amalgamation of people that Robin Hood is based off of.
That's kind of what I saw. Was it's different people kind of thrown in. I know that King Richard and Prince John were both real people, and kind of that the way they portrayed John in this, I guess, was similar to how he was. Not super baby, but he was more pampered by his parents than King Richard was, and all that stuff. So, but it was those, at least they were real. I don't know if Nottingham is that a fucking real place.
It's in every one of those, and they're all based on real life, so it has to be.
I mean, it
It
doesn't.
might be
have
an
to be
old prop.
right.
Man, it might even just be something else that's like name slightly changed. You know, there was part of me that was thinking about this. Like, so King Richard's away fighting in the Crusades. You kind of wonder if he's sending Prince John letters like, "Hey, we need a lot more fucking money if we're gonna win this.
Yeah.
Tax the shit out of these guys."
And then he comes back and goes, "What the fuck are you doing, man?" And kind of.
Yeah, I can't believe you would tax them
Yeah.
like that, you piece of shit.
That's one way.
Ha-ha, and
That's a
then-
quick way to win favor.
Yeah. And Prince John's like, "Well, you said hang him." Oh, fuck.
Okay, so it looks like it's kind of, I don't know, more north, but it's close to the middle of England, Sherwood Forest. It's in Nottinghamshire, England. So
That's cool.
yeah,
You know, the British made, you had to practice shooting your bow, like it was a law. So they can actually look at skeletons and tell who practiced the bow and not, because it actually will deform your bones.
like
Practicing.
just regular people too. That we're
Uh
talking
huh.
about? Just in
Like
case
everybody.
they-
If you're a peasant,
that
they
way you can
gave
be
you a
useful
bow.
in a siege.
Well, yeah, because the longbow was something that was really scary. I mean, I think, what the hell were the draw weights? Like 150 pounds or something. There's some crazy draw weight where you look at all the other, like a big recurve bow nowadays is like 70, 80 pounds. And there's people that are like, there's of course, giant guys that can
150
pull
pounds.
bigger. Yeah. So imagine 150 pounds is like literally you're holding up 150 pounds up off the ground
Yeah.
with just your shoulder and your other arm. I mean, that's and then you could actually shoot accurately. Holy shit.
Its range was about 350 yards too. So
Oh God.
yeah, you're just like fucking.
That's further than I thought.
The heavy war
That's-
arrows used were able to penetrate all but the very best steel plate armor, too. So you're
That's
fucking thinking you're
why-
hiding behind armor, and it fucking goes right through your shit, and you're like, "Fuck."
Well, I mean, I've been in that spot. My brother and I stood there and we're holding a piece of fucking inch plywood over the top of our head, and this fucking arrow
Idiots.
falls down in between us and then goes into the ground, like all basically to the fletching. And Robert looks at me and goes, "You and your fucking stupid ideas." And I was like, "Holy shit." And then, like, I'm not even shitting you. We set the piece of wood down, and I looked at him. I go, "We probably could have just shot the arrow at the piece of wood on the ground to see if it'd go through." And he's like, "You're a fucking idiot." And I'm like, "You didn't think of it either." He's like, "Yeah, I just like living on the edge or some stupid thing." That's fucking Robert,
Fuck.
though. You can get that kid to do anything. He's like, "Oh, it'll be fine." I mean, I'm better than a lot of big brothers who come up with a dumb idea and are like, "Hey, you hold the piece of plywood up and I'll not be around." I was standing there holding it with him. I mean, when my brother Dan, then again, I think it was, who the hell? One of us, we had a fort, right? And we had like some old mattresses, and we had the springs pointing in at each other because there's sharp springs sticking out of all of them.
Yeah.
But we had them pointed, they were down, so you wouldn't land on them. Anyways, we jumped off, and one of us like kind of missed the fucking mattress. Like you because you were gonna try and land flat. Like I jumped off and made it. I can't remember if it was Robert or Dan, but one of them fucking hit the corner of it and like shot off sideways, and then ended up getting barked up a little bit. And my fuck, it was funny. But I was like, "Dude, you didn't have to miss." Anyway, so Stan's got a lot to say about that.
It does.
So in the beginning of this, when they're first robbing the king, and then throughout the entire movie, they kept saying the same saying in every situation, no matter the situation. What the fuck was it? Somebody's got to remember.
Down with the fake king or something like that.
No.
Oodalolly.
Oodalolly. What the fuck does that mean? They
don't
said it when
know.
they were robbing the king. They'd say it when they were running away. They'd say it to the preacher when they're like praying to him. They used it for everything. It was just like squanch.
Yeah, it's a catchphrase. I mean, people say the F word like that, It's like, you're on top of your old lady, fuck.
So
You
according
run
to-
over your own foot, fuck.
According to YouTube, or not YouTube, fuck, what the hell am I talking about? Wikipedia. Oodalali was a 1950s. It meant yay or yippee kind of thing. So
And that was
Okay.
made in the 70s, I think, wasn't it?
yeah, they're like, well, this seems old enough. Let's use this word.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Talking to Kelly for a second.
No problem.
Anyway, so what did you guys think about Robin Hood when you were kids?
I loved it as a kid.
This
and I still
movie
like
or
it.
the dude?
The dude and I gotta say, one thing I was always super pissed off about is there was never any good. I mean, Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves was all right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna say it was great. It was all right. It was a little better than all right, but there was no like super good Robin Hood movies.
No, I think this is probably the best Robin Hood movie there was.
Yeah,
Like even the new one, which I knew was going to be dumb, but it was still fun to watch. But this is still better than that.
there was a new one.
Yeah, with Taron Egerton and
Oh.
Jamie Foxx. Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, no, this
It wasn't any good, or it was all right.
it was all right. I think it's like this and like fucking Men in Tights are like my favorite Robin Hood things. So
I liked the one with that other guy came out in like the 90s.
Yeah, that's the
What
one,
was his
Prince of
name?
Thieves.
Yeah. What was his
is that
name, though?
Costner?
Kevin
Yes.
Costner. Yeah, it had Morgan Freeman in it.
Yes, it did.
He was I can never remember the guy's name.
He was the guy with the pumps.
Yeah, he was a chew.
Yes, he was a chew.
Well, you could never make that fucking movie nowadays. Holy
no.
shit. You know?
Oh man.
You know, I really screwed that up when he said, "Oh, chew." I should have said, "Bless you."
Then there was fucking Blinken.
Azim is his name.
There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, that was good timing for Kelly. There you go.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know what the hell it is about the movies that's missing, so to speak, with the whole Robin Hood thing. Like Prince of Thieves was pretty good, but I don't know. I don't know if it was just Kevin Costner's acting or what it was, because I felt like they needed a little bit different of an actor. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody a little bit more charming, or I don't know. I don't know. Because I mean, Kevin Costner just seems like he'd play a really good farmer from Ohio. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like Robin Hood seems like kind of a fucking, I don't know how to who the fuck would be. I don't even have a goddamn idea who the guy would be.
I don't know. It's got to
You
be
know?
somebody charismatic. Cause
Yeah.
he's able to fucking play all these, these cons and shit like that. And like the fucking first con that he goes after Prince John with is fucking great. You know, they're dressed as fucking fortune tellers and shit like that.
Yeah. And
And
then
that's
they
just
got
awesome.
the firefly thing. That was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah.
That'd get most people, especially in the dark. You're like, there's no way you see that string.
Fuck no.
You're like, what the fuck? It's a floating fucking orb? Holy shit.
Oh man. I mean, shit, you're risking getting burned as a witch at that point though.
Well, yeah. Then again, he can run pretty fast.
Yeah. I don't know who would be. Yeah, like I said, it's got to be somebody really charismatic, and I don't know who the fuck that is right now.
I mean, I was like, I almost said Pierce Brosnan, but he's not really all that charismatic. He's just British.
You know, he'd be like Sheriff of Nottingham kind of
Yeah.
dude. or
Well, the
Prince
guy they
John.
had, I mean, Alan Rickman did a great job as Sheriff of Nottingham.
Yeah,
I thought he was great in that role.
he was a really fucking. He did a really good job in a lot of the roles. Pretty much most of them. I'm trying to think of anything
Yeah.
that he did shitty in.
I mean, fuck, I almost think if Tim Allen could be a little bit more athletic, he might be a pretty good, Robin Hood.
Yeah.
As far, I mean, action wise, it's like that guy can't pull a bow, but as far as like conning somebody, you could see it.
Yeah. I mean, shit, he used to
You
do it
know?
back in the day. He was a salesman.
Yes, he was. And yeah, he was a drug trafficker too. I think he talked
was,
himself out of
yeah.
like 18 fucking problems, and then finally somebody's like, I'm not buying it.
That'd be the biopic I want to see. Fucking, Tim Allen before before he became famous or all that shit.
Oh, there's no way he's letting any of that fucking shit out of the bottle.
No, we won't see that until he's dead and he's written some fucking memoir or some shit like that.
It'll be like, holy shit, he did what?
Yeah.
My God, this guy was America's family man for the whole life of Home Improvement.
Yeah.
You know? What a fucking goon, though. I always forget about that show. So, let's see.
Who else would be?
So,
What's going on?
I just had a brain fart. Sorry.
I like the whole the tournament scene. You know, the thing. The one time that these guys come up with a decent idea, obviously everybody knows it's a fucking trap. But just the fact that, you know, they know Rob. I mean, they do it in every one that I can think of. Robin can't fucking pass up this opportunity to just be a badass, you know. So
yeah,
fuck yeah, I'm gonna shoot this bow and kick everybody's ass with it. You know, so
yeah.
Just, well, he couldn't let his girl be a hoe with somebody else.
Yeah.
I like the part where the guy makes him miss the arrow and he shoots the other arrow and then the arrow fucking hits the middle of the target.
Which means to do that, because the other arrow would be traveling at, you know, full velocity, he'd have to pull the bow back even further than he did the first time to gain extra velocity to catch it in midair.
I like
and
that.
Aim it in front of it.
And all of his arrows are fucking just shit. They're like just a piece of fucking wood that he pulled off like a branch. They
and almost
even,
every
like,
one of them is
down.
broken half.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, his bow was the same way. It was just a branch. If you looked, it had like leaves and shit coming off of one side of it still. So
that's because he's such a badass.
Yeah.
He knew he didn't need a good bow to win.
Archery is so fucking hard, though.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, some of that stuff, like when they start shooting 5 arrows, it's like, come on. No, come on.
That's why you gotta activate a power in a video game, and then you get a cooldown, man.
Yeah, it's like, no, we don't. No, come on. I hate that shit. You know? I mean, it's like you could just shoot the guy through the fucking eye. You don't need to shoot him 8 times.
You got Legolas
with 5 arrows. That's really impressive.
Yeah.
So if you shoot 2 arrows, velocity is obviously going to be cut down. But I'm curious, how much does it cut velocity down per arrow? And at 5, does it cut it down exponentially more because there's so much more to push? Or is it an equal amount per arrow?
Did Mythbusters ever do this one?
I don't know.
Well, it would seem like the bow can generate X amount of force, and then you add double the weight. It's going to
generate all the power from the bottom.
Yes. And it's but it seems like it would just cut it down by the number of arrows, you know, because you're like, I mean, doesn't that make sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, the other thing is, son of a bitch, Steve, you totally derailed my train of thought with that one. Wasn't expecting that at all.
Oh man.
Oh, okay. So, I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but like, not native. Well, I guess they are native, like South American tribes that are still around. Like they actually will shoot arrows at each other when they're kids, and then they do it into adulthood to practice catching the arrows or deflecting them. And I would have thought that was bullshit, but I shot a fucking arrow out of a compound bow at my brother Robert, and he fucking caught the arrow. And I was like, what the fuck? How the fuck did he just... And Robert's a bit of a mutant sometimes with his reflexes, but still, he fucking caught the arrow. Now, if somebody's shooting an arrow at me a fifth as fast, even I'm going to be able to at least take my head and be like, yeah, try and shoot through that bitch. And then it would just cut me a little bit and just, you know, just deflect off. You know, I mean, or it'd just bounce off me, which is pretty funny too. Because did you guys have bow and arrows as kids?
Yes.
I did not have one, but I knew people that did, so I used them a few times.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So did you guys ever get like any time outside to do experiments with them?
Yes.
Like shooting stuff or shooting things you shouldn't have shot?
Like my brothers and I put a 22 round backwards in an arrow and then just shot it at a tree. And we're shooting it like 200 feet in the air at this tree.
Mhm.
And it took me like I mean, I was all right with a bow and arrow and I could hit the tree reliably. But I mean, I missed at least once there was no bullet in that one. I was just trying to gauge because the branches in the pine tree would deflect the arrow. Anyways, so we're looking for this fucking arrow and it turns out that I'm shooting it in my neighbor's backyard, right by their fucking back door.
Nice.
Is where the arrows landed. And do you think that stopped me from shooting the fucking bullet arrow?
Of course not.
No, it didn't. I
This
did
is
it
Eric
anyways.
Anderson, all right? You are
So-
the Eric Anderson. Of course it didn't.
Well, yeah. So I climbed up this tree and looked at it, and the fiberglass arrow was like hand width apart, but still stuck in the tree, and then just blown up. Like it just was like ripped to shreds. And the fiberglass, I was like, holy shit, that bullet went off somewhere. And the bullet fired out of there.
Yeah, I'm sure
I
it
don't
didn't
think-
have enough power to hurt anything.
Oh, I know it didn't because it blew the arrow, blew the arrow up. So there was most of it, right? It's a 22 long rifle round. It's not like it's,
Yeah, it didn't have a
not a
barrel to go
223 or
down.
something. Yeah.
It's
What
the
I-
barrel
Anyways.
that gives it speed and power.
So what I
Fucking
did have as
stupid.
a kid was we did have crossbows. So we were
Oh,
shooting a lot of
shit.
shit with those things.
That's almost more
Those are
dangerous
worse.
depending on the crossbow, man.
Oh,
And
those
they
are
were
definitely
cheap
worse.
little shitty crossbows that
Oh,
we
okay.
got from some fucking place. Oh no, they put fucking holes through shit. It was
Yeah.
they were not safe whatsoever, but we still had them.
Those were outlawed in like England or something when they were first invented because they were considered too dangerous.
Well, what happened is all of a sudden these knights would go up to people's place, like those kind of guys, and a fucking crossbow would just waste them.
Yeah.
You just aim it at the guy and pull the trigger. There's no like, I have to aim anything. You just pull it out and it'd shoot through armor.
Yeah, and it didn't take the like, oh, hold on, I got to pull this bow out, bow back. And if you're not
Yeah.
practiced with it or strong enough to pull it back very well, then you're gonna have an issue. So
Yeah, you can just have two of them laying there fucking loaded when they show up and then pull it up and fucking nail the guy.
yeah,
And then he's dead. And as long as there's not more of them than there are bolts, you're okay. Or fuck for that matter, if you just kill like the guy who raped your wife last time, like it's a win for you and they lost to their best raper. You know?
So one thing
They're
I
like,
found,
we gotta outlaw this shit. Too many guys are dying from it.
One of the things I found on multiple arrows, I've got one that says you can shoot. It does slow the arrows down. You can shoot still well over 100 feet with like at least 3 arrows, is what they're saying. So
Jesus.
Yeah.
What the fuck is the point of that?
there isn't one. Literally, they just say it's just something cool to do. It really isn't some like something you'd want to do because you're just
No.
wasting the arrows. You're not getting the accuracy that you could get if you had one, or the the power behind it.
That's like I said, if you can shoot the guy in the eye,
Yeah.
who gives a shit about shooting 3 arrows? The guy's running at you with his helmet and you shoot him in the fucking eye and he's dead. That's dumb to fucking screw around. Or if you're Robin Hood, you shoot him in the fucking vas deferens or something.
Oh man,
Because Steve is definitely related to Robin Hood.
shooting some danglies off.
It's just like, oh, you shot me in the fucking ball sack. Oh my god, I quit. Fuck this guy.
Oh man, nobody wants to collect the bounties I go after.
No,
just
they're
go-
all like,
or nobody wants
my
to pay on the
dangler."
bounties I go after. I come back, they're like,
Yeah.
we asked for an ear. It's close enough. Just some balls on the fucking table.
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
Yeah, so I like the choice of the animals for all the stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
mean, I
fucking-
thought
the fox obviously had to be there. There's no fucking way.
Yeah.
And the lions make sense as the king and prince and all that.
Yeah.
Uh,
And then the snake. And
Yeah.
I like the rhinos. One of
Yeah.
my favorite scenes as a kid was when Little John's riding the fucking rhinos in that tent around.
oh, in the tent. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I like when they're fighting, like they jump. Little John jumps into the tent. The lady Cluck or whatever the hell her name is falls out of the tent. She pulls her sleeves up, runs, jumps back in the tent. John falls out of it, and just kind of go back and forth a little bit. And then John's riding the fucking tent around.
Holy
Yeah,
fuck.
fucking Lady Clucky is the original strong woman.
Yeah, and it
She
fully
was
made me
fucking
think
knocking
of
people down
Oh, it made me think of the lady from fucking Men in Tights also.
Yeah. Yeah. Her name was
So
like what, Hilda or something?
Yeah.
Something like that.
it sounds like Eric knew exactly what he was talking about, because the knights went and talked to the king and made it so peasants were outlawed from owning crossbows because it was too easy for a peasant to shoot them if they came to their door and it would go right through
Yep.
their armor. And that's pretty
Yep.
much what Eric said.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's actually there's a book. This guy named R.A. Salvatore writes D&D fiction or whatever, and he has essays at the back of the book, and one of them was about that. Like, because he's talking about how like guns. Part of that's like the stuff with guns where like they're an equalizer, which the crossbows were like the original equalizer. Because a peasant, if he could get his hands on one, and you're over there riding up with your fucking armor, you're dead.
Yeah. And that was the problem.
Yeah. Well, they didn't like that. All of a sudden, like, wait a second, I should just be able to go up and spank this guy's ass, no problem. I mean, and we all know people, like, the whole idea that these guys didn't do what they weren't. I mean, they were doing like shady stuff. They were like every fucking bad thing you could think of, these guys were doing. And that sucks, And then the crossbow came along, and all of a sudden armor and everything disappeared, and then you have like muskets and stuff, and there's no point to armor because the fucking, round will go right through it. And then you're down to, oh, we'll just take the guns away from them, I mean, fuck, in this country, we're almost down to where everybody's going to start getting fucking armor and swords again, or in England, maybe. They're just starting buying armor and swords, and there's cops are like, what the hell are we supposed to do to that?
Everybody's going to have to learn how to sword fight again.
Yeah. I mean, and, sword fighting is, there's like a lot of skill to that.
Yeah.
It's not as, I mean,
I
tell you
Honor.
what, though.
It's a lot of shit you got to do in that thing.
No shit. Well, you want to see some scary ass shit? There's a Mythbusters or one of those shows, one of those fucking history or whatever channel shows, where the guy has like a broadsword, and then there's just this hunk of pork.
Yeah.
That's bigger around than a person, and he just cuts it in half.
Is it like that one where they test out the weapons and then say who's going to win in a fight at the end?
Yeah, some of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
Yeah, and it's like it's all like, okay, so Vikings are gonna fight samurai.
Yeah.
Okay, that's like, or knights are gonna fight Vikings. All right, so let's have a guy from 1500 fight a guy from 900. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I mean, for that matter, you start adding in old man strength, and you get a caveman with a good club. Fucking good luck to those guys.
I mean, you realize that show is how we got that game, For Honor. I mean, fuck.
Yeah,
you're
definitely.
putting weird mixtures against each other and just to see what happens. And now we've got samurai fighting knights fighting Vikings. So
yeah, that's a pretty good game.
Yeah, enjoy it.
Are the Vikings topless like they should be?
No,
the men may not be wearing tops.
They,
I guess.
only that's like a myth. Only berserkers did that, and they got super high on some kind of drugs.
Fucking smoked a bunch of mushrooms.
Yeah, I don't know what
mushrooms.
You can.
Can
they
you?
were eating something.
Why
There's
not?
like I watched a thing about that, and there's like 15 different plants that you can eat that will like deaden your nerves, so you can't feel anything, and then make you aggressive. There was some big plant that the guy said that you could OD on, and would kill you, but when you're in the midst of ODing on it, you're gonna fucking run around like a lunatic. And there's stories about like the berserkers would literally just attack anybody in front of them. And if you watch a guy, like, I don't know if you guys have been in any kind of situation like that, but when you're watching a guy who is totally unafraid and going balls out, it's a little it's like, what the fuck? It's a little bit off-putting, and I bet money that there's a whole bunch of guys that were like, oh, what the fuck? Why is that guy? He's fucking drooling. He's frothing at the mouth. Fuck this. And then they're covered in hot, they would put on bear hides and stuff to be more scary looking. Yeah, that would be fucking terrifying.
So hallucinogenic mushrooms and massive amounts of alcohol.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I mean, I just seen a program that was pretty recent where they were really going into that. And the guy's like, he thinks it's this fuck it. I don't know if it might have been on a podcast or something. Anyways, he thinks it was this other plant that would fit it better because there's some mushroom that you can do that'll just like make you kind of dozy, and it's like alcohol already does that. What the fuck is
Yeah.
good as what the hell good is hallucinating and being all like sleepy. You need a meth plant for that. That's basically what it is. Anyway, so yeah, that's fucking scary though. I mean, fuck that. And there again, you're down to like the size difference with a lot of that stuff where you got people who aren't as big because they can't eat well, and that's awful. I don't know if you guys have ever been in a physical confrontation with somebody much bigger than you. Probably Jason has.
Everyone's bigger than me.
I mean, it's not a fucking fun thing because you just can't like the amount of force that like for a guy. All right, so like in MMA, that's why they have size classes because a guy who weighs 120 pounds, he can punch a dude. He can be the hardest puncher in like his entire fucking weight class, but like a guy 2 weight classes up, he can't even jar his head because the guy just weighs so much more.
Yeah.
And it's surprising how little of a or how big of a difference that little amount of weight makes. So that's another thing. Like a gun, like a woman can pull out a gun and shoot a dude who like. So Brock Lesnar's like, "Hey, I want to go Viking on some woman," and the woman's like, "I don't think so." Shoots him in the face. Well, he's dead. She just doesn't have to get into a fucking wrestling match with him at all. That's like I think that's what Black Widow should do in the fucking Avengers movie. She'd just be wasting people. Pop, pop, like with a cool silenced gun, and then they could do like some cool rainbow sparkles out of their head. To make it child appropriate.
Since it's not a rated R one.
With like unicorns coming out of it and stuff.
Yeah.
That makes
be
it
cool.
completely child appropriate.
Yeah.
I mean, most likely what she'll have is the widow's bite thing. So she'll have her stun bracelets that fucking just blast dudes with whatever the fuck electricity they blast people with. I don't know. Won't work against Taskmaster with his armor and shit, but the other guys maybe. That's what she does in Iron Man 2. So.
Oh, is that what that is? See, I never actually got that.
Yeah,
I got that she was just wrestling them.
Well, yeah, she had that stuff, but she also had like little tasers and stuff like that. She uses it in Civil War also, where she hits people with some tasers and stuff. So
I always just figured she was more of like, hey, there's some bad guys coming around over here. Watch out, which is handy. And yeah.
Anyway, I think the way she fights in those things though is a lot better than they do in some things where she's not like physical. She's not using like force to take somebody down. She's using agility and stuff and objects around her.
I totally agree. I definitely agree. With
some of the other ones you see, you're like, I mean, we talked about the Laura Croft thing where they kind of messed up that whole fighting thing where she could have definitely fought stealthier and used objects around and stuff like that, and it would have made sense. But physically trying to overpower somebody that's a lot bigger than you, it doesn't look realistic. So
it will. I mean, it just isn't. And
unless you're wearing an Iron Man suit, totally realistic.
Yeah, why the fuck doesn't she have a fucking Iron Man suit?
Everybody on the team should have an Iron Man suit. They gave the Hulk an Iron Man suit. Why the fuck can't everybody else have one?
Yeah, why wouldn't she have a fucking super cool stealth Iron Man suit? I mean, fucking Spider-Man has an Iron Man suit.
Yeah. And that would be like the argument would be like, oh yeah, well they don't want to get rid of her agility and stuff like that. Fucking Spider-Man's agile as fuck, and he's got an Iron Man suit. Come on.
You got a press release from Black Widow. Iron Man tried to Me Too me.
Yeah.
He sent me a thing that if he gets to bang me, he'd give me an Iron Man suit. Well, you notice I don't have an Iron Man suit. And Hawkeye's like, me too.
And then he goes and gets some coke.
Yeah, like I'm gonna go on a killing rampage of people that were mean to me at one point. I'm gonna get them, and I don't know. I think they did good with the like Hawkeye is obviously probably based off of Robin Hood to some extent, right?
Yeah,
and in the last Avengers, he was pretty fucking scary when he was like Batmaning it through that, but actually killing everybody.
Yeah, when he was Ronin in it.
Like actually trying to help out, not just having fun beating the shit out of people. I mean, I feel like Batman's just in a never-ending fight simulator, and he's like, "Oh, I think he breaks them out of Arkham Asylum, so he can."
So
just
he's
go
got
beat the shit out
Batman's
of
got a
them
fucking
again.
split personality where he takes them out and stuff like that, and then later on he goes back in and breaks them out.
Now I tell you what,
Dude.
that would make a fucking great Batman movie.
That'd
Where
make a great Batman video game if they don't reveal
Yeah.
it till the end of the game. That when you're playing the two different characters, it's actually the same one.
yeah, he's just complaining the whole time that he's sleepy and he's kind of tired. He doesn't seem like he's getting enough sleep. And it turns out that the second he falls asleep, his alternate self wakes up and just starts fucking shit up.
It's because he's so damn tired. His alternate self
Yeah.
needs some sleep.
Yeah. Anyways, that shit's fucked.
Isn't that part of the fucking thing in something? I remember seeing something like that.
There's
he
a guy named
captures-
Hush who looks like Batman, who looks like Bruce Wayne. Is that what you're thinking of?
No, there's like a whole like thing, and I'm sure it has something to do with the Joker where something happens and Bats goes fucking nuts. And like
Oh, that
he's
happens all
split
the time, yeah.
personality like kind of thing where he captures the fucking the Bat team, you know, fucking Nightwing and Robin and Batgirl and all that stuff, and then ends up killing one of them, and then they somehow get away. I don't remember what the fuck it was. Maybe Batman's, you know, good self takes back over or something like that for a little bit. But yeah, there's some fucked up thing. Maybe it's just the Batman who laughs, and maybe it's that whole Joker thing. Like, because there's a
I think
thing
so,
where
yeah.
he gets injected with like fucking Joker serum or some shit like that, and it starts fucking messing up his brain.
I mean, spoiler alert, I kind of hope him and Joker are related.
Yeah,
I think that would make them so much more of a compelling, like so much better. I mean, because they're already like one of the best villain and hero combination you can have. But then you add the fact that they might be like half brothers or something. That would be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know? And then you see like Bruce Wayne's over there fancying it up, and the other guy's like just eating shit sandwiches nonstop. You know? Then you feel bad for the bad guy. You know? But he's so fucking terrible. I mean, he murders like fucking thousands of people. You know?
Yeah, so it's the Batman who laughs that does this. It's fucking
Yeah.
Batman fight. Joker like turns a bunch of people into Joker people, and he something happens where they're fighting, and Batman kills Joker, but releases some fucking purified form of the chemicals and turns Bats into fucking Joker, and basically he becomes like the biggest villain in all of the multiverse thing, because he's like able to. You know, he's got Batman's smarts, but fucking the insanity of Joker. And he pulls in a bunch of crazy Jokers and Batmans and stuff like that, like all the bad Bat people from the other Earths and stuff like that. And
Oh God.
yeah, and just starts fucking bringing
Fucking
them
Owlman was like
into-
awful.
yeah. So he starts bringing them into the like prime Earth, trying to take shit out and stuff. And that, I think, he turns a couple of Robins into Jokers. Like he fucking gasses them, and it's real fucked up. So
Why doesn't Superman just go and stop him? Isn't Superman,
he
you know,
does
part of
something
that
to
world?
Superman too.
Oh, does he?
I
don't
think
remember-
Superman basically is almost at the verge of shitting his pants dealing with Batman all the time.
Yeah.
Because like Batman does stuff to his suit. Like there's a fucking comic book with Batman and the whole Justice League, and Superman can't hear his fucking heartbeat because Batman has got some device where he can't even fucking hear his heartbeat. And then it ends up that like some Martians, you know, and I don't know if you're familiar with the DC Martians, but they're like basically Superman, but they're weak to fire. Anyways, they make believe that they're from this other planet, not Mars or anything, like some other, and it was there to help, but the whole time they're just fucking stuff up, and they're getting ready to get rid of the planet, you know, a whole bunch of the people. And then Batman discovers that and basically beats up an entire team of Supermen, like Superman class people, except they can shapeshift and turn invisible and a bunch of extra shit that fucking Superman, you know, can't do. And they're a lot more crafty than Superman. But Batman, he fucking gets it done.
Did he
You
just
know?
put on a suit that would burn, like a burning bat suit?
No, what happened was like one of them crashed his fucking bat plane and he survived that. And then what he like figured out who they were immediately because he's fucking over there in the wreckage and he sees one of them like shy away from the flames and he's like, "Oh, that's definitely one of those guys." Whereas like Superman, they didn't have any fucking idea. None of the rest of them had a goddamn clue. Batman's over there, he knew what was going on. And he'd already started doing stuff to fuck him up. And because he has like, I mean, he just knows how to. I mean, there's all like, okay, there's like a whole bunch of that stuff that's like chess where you got to like trap that, figure out how to get the guy where he can't get you. And that
So-
stuff is hard to do. And Batman's like, okay, I've got, and they don't even realize they're in a corner. They're like playing chess, and then the other guy's like checkmate. And you're like, what? How the fuck did that just happen?
So they were playing checkers and he was playing chess.
Yeah, they're over there like, they just got their finger popping their assholes. And then Batman's like, checkmate, bitch.
So I can see Batman scrolling through his cell phone, right, to call Superman for help, but really he's using him as bait. And it's
Yeah.
like, shittiest superhero ever. Yep, that's him. Click.
Superman has fucking fire vision, right? And manages to get captured by one of them. I mean,
Jeez.
son of a bitch, he's dumb.
He's so scared to hurt anybody.
He uses
mean-
black kryptonite on Superman and Superboy, or his kid, and they kill Lois Lane
Oh, Jesus.
because it causes them
That
to go
got dark.
rabid. Yeah. Sorry.
Fuck.
Wow, you took that down a bad path real quick there, didn't
Yeah.
you, Steve?
Oh fuck, dude! The Batman The Last is fucking ridiculous, man.
Yeah, it's pretty dark. They're trying to like dark it up.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
think
good.
that's kind of
I mean,
what we were
that
talking
stuff-
about last podcast. Was you
Yeah.
you wanted a Batman who was bad? And I was like, I
Yeah.
remember seeing something on this shit. And yeah.
Well, you know what I want to see? I want to see just a speck of. Okay, for instance, this whole no kill thing with Batman. That's the stupidest thing ever.
Well, that's why the fucking Ben Affleck Batman was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he was one of the best Batmans because first of all, physically he looks like he could be Batman.
Yeah, and then he also looks like Bruce
Yeah.
Wayne when he's not in the suit. So
Oh yeah, and he does a good job of being like kind of a doofy Bruce Wayne,
yeah,
and then a scary Batman. And they did good with the effects. Like him not having his own Batman movie is a fucking disgrace.
yeah, it's bullshit.
It's fucking embarrassing. And then here we're gonna have sparkly vampire boy who is always gonna be the guy who Voldemort fucking wastes in a second. You know?
Despair.
Yeah, he's like, oh yeah, it's a spare. And he just wastes him in a fucking second. Meanwhile, Harry Potter, the
Does the same
half-blood
spell he
goof-
does every time. and
Yeah, he's
somehow
just like,
defeats him.
I know one spell, Expelliarmus, and fucking manages to hold him off. And meanwhile, this other kid who's like way more advanced magically, fucking Voldemort one shots him.
Yeah.
You're a bitch. Oh, yeah, he's dead. Okay.
He was just too cocky.
Well,
Well, that
is
no, he didn't know what the hell was going on. He shows up and he's like, "What the fuck?" and then gets killed. So
Oh, I know. I mean, thankfully, if this was the Harry
If-
Potter universe, I'd definitely be a half a giant.
yeah,
If
Or if they have dwarfs, a half dwarf, and then the fucking cadaver spell would make me shit my pants and then fly off into the distance, and I'd be like, "What the hell was that? Did you guys say that? Oh, there's that fucking snake guy. Get out of here, you son of a bitch!" Get on my wand. I just hold it up to my head. Hagrid, get over here and fucking beat this guy's ass. Then Hagrid just lands on him. Bam, Super Mario style. Problem solved. That'd be quite the
Uh.
different fight scene. That's one of my favorite parts of a book, where they're shooting spells at Hagrid when he's running away after they
Yeah.
burn his house down, and the
That was
fucking
awesome.
spells are just bouncing off of him.
yeah. He's got like a bloody nose. Is all he gets from the shit.
Yeah, he's like, Cruciatus is a bitch's spell.
Yeah.
It's like doesn't do anything to me. You know.
All right. What rating did you guys give this movie?
I'm gonna say 4 stars. Kelly, what do you, 3 stars? Kelly gives it 3 stars.
I'm gonna give it 4 stars.
I also give it 4 stars.
Yeah, poor Kelly didn't get to see it as a kid, and I almost think we should like figure out some kind of. We should just start adding movies to a list that's like movies you need to see before you're 12, so that they're good.
Yeah.
Because this is definitely one of them.
Yeah, it's an
You know?
excellent movie when you're younger. If this was the first time I saw it, I'd probably give it like a 2.5 or 3 as well. But it's got that nostalgia
Yeah.
behind it because I loved it as a kid.
Oh, my daughter enjoyed this too. We watched it together, and she's just like, "This is pretty good." Yeah, she was
Yeah.
she was in it. Like, usually when I try to watch a movie for the podcast or something like that, and it's something that she might like, but she's just like, "Nah," just walks away from me. This one, she actually sat with me the whole time and watched it, so it's kind of surprised.
Well, that's cool.
I think it helps. Talking animals usually keeps her attention. So
Yeah, it's nice that that they, like I said, they did such a good job with picking the animals for everybody.
yeah,
Like the fucking wolves and the everything else.
yeah.
I also, one of the things I hate about these anthropomorphized animals though is like bears are always super nice.
Yeah, they never make them like big mean assholes or anything like that. They're always the good guys in these things, especially the
Yeah, I
Disney
mean, like,
ones.
It's like in real life, like bears are the worst. Like I was talking to somebody about it. I mean, bears don't even make any fucking noise.
Yeah,
Like out. Okay, so you're out in the woods. Wolves howl and stuff occasionally. Coyotes howl and stuff. So you have some idea they're there, right? But bears, they just are there. Like you're walking along. Like, all right. Here's a good example. My dad and I are working on this burn. We're sitting there. We just started eating lunch, and no shit whatsoever, this fucking bear walks across the road, and it was a pretty big fucking, like it was one of the bigger bears I've ever seen. Just walks, it looks, turns and looks at us, and my dad's dog is looking at it like, what the fuck is that? Is that a bear? His dog had never seen a bear before. Rocky, he's just looking at it, he's just like, oof. And the bear looks at him, and he just keeps walking away. And I was like, holy shit. Because you couldn't hear it at all. You didn't hear it walking across the fucking gravel road. It's like, God damn.
It's the same with
Thank
like
God
a
I'm
mountain
not a
lion or something. Just can't
What?
hear them. They're so quiet.
Yeah, mountain lions are, you just feel them looking at you.
Yeah.
he's like, "I'm gonna eat you."
You don't have to hear them. You seriously get that sense. You can feel when a mountain
Yeah.
lion is near you because it's just watching you. You can get that, like the hair on the back of your neck stands up and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, most of them stink too. You can smell those motherfuckers. They stink like dead shit. Bears aren't that bad because they'll fuck around in the water and stuff, but I've definitely smelled a couple of cougars and then went around the corner and seen the damn thing and was like,
Me
oh
too.
God.
They usually smell
That's what
like
that fucking
stale
smell
cigarettes
is?
and beer with some
Yeah.
alcohol.
It's not beer. It's usually wine, dude. They're
Yeah,
more
it's
sophisticated. They're gonna be drinking
it's
wine.
definitely wine.
Stale cigarettes and wine.
Definitely
yeah.
wine, yeah, and some really cheap perfume,
Yeah.
and then
Yes.
cheetah print.
Cheetah
Definitely
print.
cheetah print. Yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, those cougars. You definitely smell them around the corner.
yeah. You just got to go running at them so you can be the first guy.
Damn it. You better hope they have some money. All right. What movie is Kelly choosing?
Oh, Kelly, what's your choice? The animated Beauty and the Beast.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to that movie. I haven't seen that in forever.
I like that movie.
Well, I mean,
I think we talked
it's
about
kind
it
of
last week. One of my favorite Disney movies.
I always thought it was kind of a tragic love story because here's this awesome guy, and he just doesn't get the lady.
Here's this dude who's awesome as a fucking beast, and then turns into a prince and looks like shit. So also there's that too.
No, I'm
Yeah.
talking about that sweet that fucking guy. He's at the bar, and
Oh,
he's
that
like,
guy.
what is he, a logger or something? He seems awesome.
Gaston?
Yeah,
a
he's over there
hunter and
fucking
a
like
fucking soldier.
being cool and fucking hunting stuff and keeping everybody safe. And then this snotty bitch is like, no, I want to have sex with a beast man. It's like, I have a pet
She's
theory
into
that
that.
she's from the future and really loves hentai.
God damn it.
I mean,
We'll talk
maybe.
about that next week, though.
oh, I was about to say some stuff. Well, actually, I might not be here
Yeah,
next
go
week.
ahead, Jason, because you're not going to be here.
Gaston seems like the type of guy that would have a very crusty crotch. I feel like he's been with a lot of women. Probably has some diseases.
Well, you look at how the women
he
like him
isn't.
in the village, man.
They like
So,
him, but he's not banging any of them.
that you
You
know
can
of.
see it.
There's
Oh,
the
no, he's-
3 twins who are all over him all the time.
Yeah, why would that be crusty though? I mean, you
From
just
one
wash
twin
it
to the next
off.
to the next.
They
Well,
would wash it off.
This
They'd
is
be like,
back
"I don't
when
wanna be-"
baths weren't normal, man.
You can't wash off warts, all right?
No, they wash their shit off.
Oh man.
I mean, I don't think you can get along without washing your shit off. You have to wash at least once a week.
It
You
used to be
know?
considered to be bad to wash, and people would only take a bath
You
like
kind of
once a
wonder
year.
though, like, what does washing do to our natural microbiome on our skin? Like, is it actually bad? Do you guys ever wonder that? Like, cavemen and stuff, like, were they just like super rash ridden, or was like their skin in like some kind of natural balance where they, you got to wonder that, right?
I mean,
Maybe
a lot of
the
people
smell-
died of infections and stuff like that too. So
Well, of course, but I mean, they would die of infections even if they did wash, because I mean, there's no antibiotics
yeah.
or anything else. And how many of them actually did die of infection? Like, we don't really even know. We just like assume that, like, I haven't seen anything where they're like, yeah, this guy's bones say he died from infection. I always just hear some scientists go, oh, that guy died of an infection. Right? I'm going to tell you what, like, my dad, he fucking didn't worry about antibioticing anything, and he didn't have any problems. He never lost a finger, nothing.
He just wasn't
fucking-
an idiot.
Well, no, I mean, I watched him like fucking, I can't even imagine the shit that, it was a lot of stupid stuff. Like, okay, one time he's underneath this log truck and he cuts his fucking finger, like the tip of his, not tip, like, first knuckle of his finger mostly off. Okay. And then he just put some toilet paper around it and wrapped it up with duct tape and went to work the next day. He didn't get it sewed up, didn't go to the doctor. There was no, definitely, because I think we were broke at the time, there's definitely no Neosporin going on that son of a bitch. And I remember seeing it. It was hanging by a fucking tag. And he just stuck it back together, taped the fucking thing up, and was like, I'm going back to work. And he worked. I don't remember ever noticing it again until he finally was like, oh, yeah, you remember that? Here's the scar. And it's like this massive fucking huge scar on his finger. And my dad was not all that big on bathing, Neither was my grandpa. My grandma would have to, like, wrote it down on the calendar.
this
make him
this
bathe.
bath day.
No, I that's no shit. She'd be like, Clarence, you're starting to get smelly. I'm gonna check the calendar. And what we were visiting him one time, and she goes, Clarence, it's been 3 months. Go take a shower. It's not even healthy to take a damn shower. This is stupid when I have to listen to this bullshit. He didn't cuss, but he's basically muttering like, I shouldn't have to listen to this woman tell me what to do, take a shower, blah, blah, blah. Then he'd go take a shower, and then he'd basically be like, T minus how long can I stretch this out?
Yeah.
And I don't ever remember him stinking, though. But maybe kids are just immune to that.
That's possible. And
Maybe-
then not everybody smells. Like, it just depends on your body. Fucking, if you have shitty microbes on your body, and then that fucking eat that fucking sweat and skin and all that stuff and fart out
Oh, my
bad shit,
God.
then you got a
Like
stinky
me
body.
on that fucking trip.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I was like, I was so fucking embarrassed. And then at the same time, I was like, I think I'm going to die from this shit. I have some kind of alien fucking thing because I've never smelled anything like it since then. Other than on me, I haven't smelled on anybody else, and I have no idea what the fuck it is.
We'll just scrape some of my microbes off and rub them on Eric.
That's about it. I mean, I just need to time
His
travel
microbes
and
would
figure out what
eat
the
all
fuck,
of
how
yours
that
and
even
then
happened.
make stinky all over the place.
They
man.
would. They'd probably eat mine.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell that's about.
He has to get some
Some kinda-
spice.
Well,
It's
I
just-
mean, like,
it's just
I've been to the doctor to
Damn,
get
Jason.
like creams and stuff, and they don't fucking seem to be able to help me. I'm like,
Poop
one-
transfusion,
so,
I'm telling you.
a few years ago, I went into the doctor and I'm like, look, I'm having this weird odor problem. I need you to help me fix it. And this lady came up with this thing. It didn't fucking do anything. So finally I go in there and I'm like, look, I'm going to raise my armpit up and I want you to smell that motherfucker and figure out how to fix this. She's like, I'm not doing that. And I was like, well, how the hell is this supposed to get fixed? Can we do some kind of a culture or something? This has got to be some problem, She's like, we should just try and be healthier. I'm like, for crying out loud. If it was just that, then every fat guy would be, irreparably stinky. It would be a crime to be fat.
It gets pretty bad at conventions.
Oh my God. I mean, I was so embarrassed. I basically was like, I should just go stay the whole fucking time in the hotel because I can't. I mean, shit, I would go take a shower and it would be fine for what, 5 minutes? And then it would start fucking.
maybe it's just the Texas water did not agree with you, man.
That's what I was
No, I
saying.
mean,
Maybe it was just Texas.
No, it was just it was an ongoing problem before we left, and I was just able to bathe it off. It was just my sweat was I was having some kind of problem. I don't know.
I'm
This
sure
is
you
a
could
great
eat something for
podcast
that.
topic, though.
Well, I mean, maybe there's some other fat guy out there who's having odor problems, and I mean, it kind of went away when I lost some weight, but it's back now. I mean,
Eat
I'm
a
like,
bunch of garlic. You'll sweat
Good
that
Lord.
shit out.
At least then you just smell like garlic.
Yeah.
Garlic smells pretty good.
oh my God, I almost think I caught it from this guy. We had this guy working for us. His nickname was Stinky.
Yeah.
And he fucking stank. And my dad made me sit next to him. So I'm always going to blame it on him. That
You
it just
caught his
took
stench.
it just took 15 years to fucking incubate, but I'll never forget sitting next to that stinky fuck. And I was like, "Oh my God." Finally one day, he's getting out of the truck and I go, "Hey, you should probably try bathing." The one thing was though, he looked like he didn't bathe.
Yeah.
And it wasn't the same stink every day. And then finally he showed up the next day and he wasn't stinky. And I was like, this is something else. And I mean, you guys witnessed me bathe.
I didn't
I was
witness you
watching.
bathe.
I did not witness you, babe.
You
Okay,
did
you guys
go.
seen me go
I saw you go
in
to the
and
bathroom.
then
You
seen
came
me
out
come
wet.
Yeah. I'm just in there like just rubbing the water on me and like, well, I think that because I don't remember ever having that problem until I started using antibacterial soap.
Yeah.
And I kind of wonder if I killed the
Well,
good bacteria on me.
That's the
and
issue.
then-
Is like
Yeah.
that's one of the problems. Is using antibacterial stuff can cause issues that way, where you kill the bacteria, but then you can allow worse stuff to get on the skin because that other bacteria might be protecting you. Also, it just helps the bacteria mutate. Whatever survived in that shit evolves a lot faster than normal fucking
gnarly.
stuff, so it can become worse faster. That's why
Yeah.
like antibiotic resistant bacteria and shit like that are so fucking bad right now, because we've used them for so long. The bacteria are mutating, and we don't have something that can take them out.
Well, and everybody does what my dad does, which is like, they go, okay, you need to take these 10 pills over the next 5 days. So then my dad goes, the second I feel better after 2 days, I'm going to quit taking pills because then I can still have these pills. And then that doesn't fix it.
Yeah.
And that mindset was like, well, maybe I'll need them in the future. So I don't know. That's one of those things where I almost feel like if you're sick, they should just give you a little bit extra and say if you need some, come in, and then everybody could just have some extras. Although,
But then they expire, and
that would
people
just make
use
it worse.
them. Yeah.
somebody needs to figure out just kill those things with some robots.
We just need
You know?
nanobots to kill the
Fuck
bacteria.
yeah, one injection.
Yeah.
Nanobots for life. It kills everything. No more coronavirus or SARS or any of that shit.
And then I can be 6 of 9, and then Kelly can be 7 of 9.
Nice, Eric.
Like Borg, you get it?
I know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You just got to figure
Yeah.
out a way to make them so they don't kill your gut bacteria. Because when it kills your gut bacteria, that's where the problem is. That's the issue of taking
There's-
antibiotics, anyways. Is it kills your gut bacteria, and then you get all fucking sick for longer because your, body's still trying to build that shit up.
Well, I've heard like 18 podcasts from different people saying that
Spies.
gut biology might actually be responsible for like some depression, some fucking AD, like a whole bunch of crap.
For eating disorders, like it could fucking make you want to eat shit that you shouldn't eat. Besides
Yeah.
just shitty food for yourself, also eating things that aren't food, things like that. So
Oh yeah, well, I mean, anyways, there's like, what the hell is the guy saying? Like some like actual depression, like that people take pills for,
Mhm.
might be cured if people just ate better.
yeah,
And think about that. Well, I mean, I'm right now I'm back on the sugar,
Mhm.
and
You
I
got
feel
the
like
sugars.
crap, and I need to stay the fuck. I need to get back off the sugar. But holy shit, it's so hard to quit.
You've been playing
Because-
all that ESO and all the fucking moon sugar stuff coming out. You're just like,
Oh,
I need
yeah.
sugar.
Yeah, I'm like, I need the sugar. You got to wonder, what if it turns out that they start shooting us up with gut biology stuff, and all of a sudden we're all fucking fine. We all start losing weight. We're healthy.
I keep telling you, man. Tom Brady, get his spice, inject it,
Yeah.
it'll be great.
Spice melange.
That guy, they should be cloning that guy, for fuck's sakes.
God damn it. All right, guys, that's gonna be it. Thanks for watching.
Tom Brady should be the Robin Hood. That's who it should be. I would totally buy that.
Is he a good actor though?
Yeah. He
Thanks
just
for
has to
watching,
act
everybody.
like Tom Brady.
Make sure you guys like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Heroic Adventure Productions, twitch.tv/Heroic Adventure, mixer.com/Turkadur, and twitch.tv/Turkadur Plays. Also, youtube.com/Heroic Adventure Productions. Follow us on Twitter at HAP Gaming. Follow me on Twitter at Turkadur. Follow Eric on Twitter at
Quick and severe.
Follow Kelly on Twitter at Sugar Snuggles, Jason on Twitter at
Unbelievable one.
and Ricky on Twitter at Furry Twitter Balls. You can also email us at Steve, Eric, Kelly, Jason, and Ricky at hapgaming.com. Each one of those names individually at hapgaming.com. You can find all the stuff I've been saying in the description on youtube.com/Heroic Adventure Productions and twitch.tv/Turkadur Plays. You can also find a donation link there in those things, and you fucking give me a taco. I'd like a taco. I want somebody to buy
Me
me a
too.
taco.
I
So
want a taco as
please-
well.
Please
Buy us all some tacos.
Please send some money and buy me a taco and Eric a taco. And if Jason wants one, he might be able to have one. It just depends on if there's enough tacos for me and Eric first.
Oh,
This is why
thanks.
Jason's so small, because the big guys always eat first, and then the small guy has to wait until the big one.
Get away from my plate, god damn it! I'm not. This is my 30th taco. I need 40. You know that. A waste away.
Jason's gonna have some PTSD soon, so we probably should get going.
Did you guys? That was a killer one. Oh.
Sometimes, man, Steve says some funny shit.
That's gonna be it, guys. We'll talk to you next week. What day, Jason?
Wednesday.
Wednesday? Okay. Talk to you on Wednesday as we play some video game. Probably finish up, maybe. Borderlands 3.
We've been saying every week we'll finish it up, so let's go with maybe.
Yeah, part 3. I mean, that's a good amount of DLC, though. That's pretty good.
It is definitely. We're 4 hours in and still not done. So
Really?
Well, we're
Yeah.
about 3.5 hours, Jason. There was like a whole half hour of downloading and
oh yeah, it's
dicking
true.
around on stuff that we probably should have, had ready before we started the stream the first time. But whatever. That's gonna be it though. Thanks for watching, and join us on Wednesday, 7:30 Pacific time, as we play some Borderlands 3 casino heist stuff. So, yep. Bye, guys.
See ya.
Bye.